Hi. Uh, House hunting was disappointing. If you don't know, which you probably don't, because I think it's not really a well-known horror movie, House Hunting is a horror movie. Um, the premise is that two families which are looking to purchase a house arrive at the same property, expecting a realtor to show them around. Instead, they find themselves trapped within a nightmare where they can't leave the property. It's the kind of thing where one of the characters says, I just kept walking over the hill and the road was always the next hill away. So it's kind of this Twilight Zone-y sort of style thing. Once they're trapped, they find this kind of cool facet on the inside of the house, which is that the cabinets in the kitchen have 7 cans of beef stew. There being 7 people. So that's interesting and definitely horrifying, considering they're there for like months. So that would be horrible to eat that again and again for months. That on its own is pretty horrific. But so I liked the basic premise. Like when I read the description, I was like, cool. My friend Jonathan recommended it to me, so I was foolishly trusting his judgment. I went in mostly blind. I guess I did watch a trailer, and so I knew that it would be kind of a woodsy feel, and that there were these two families kind of fighting each other, and it just didn't really pan out anywhere interesting, and I will give you more details on that. So the things I did like, they have kind of comical experimental cutscenes, like between scenes. It just fades to black. And I thought that was kind of funny because I don't think that's a thing that's normally done in Hollywood cinema. And at one point they even had, they'd been at the house for some time and they had literally like a black screen with just a text plate that said 1 month later. And I was like, whoa, because this was like 35 minutes into the film. Like, usually a movie does not do a time skip unless it is early at the beginning of the movie. So I thought that was kind of ballsy in like an interesting way, but not groundbreaking. So the other thing that was interesting was the families that are in the house. There is a man who is like a comically masculine figure. He's not quite a Ron Swanson, because that's like actually comically. He just is like heavy on the machismo, and it comes off as a joke. But what's horrible is that I don't want to like that character. He's like, I'm a man's man. That's what's important to me. And like, I didn't want to like him, but he ended up being like one of my not favorite characters. It's more like process of elimination. All the other characters were really annoying. So his wife is very like timid and optimistic. She like sets about to like cleaning the house that they're all trapped in. And she's like, I'm just trying to make the most of what we have. She strikes me as like a person with a lot of faith, but they're not really in a good faith situation. So that was a little weird. And then their son is literally a rapist. Like, really, like in the movie, he tries to rape the other family's daughter, and it got to the point when they were discussing this trauma that you find out that every character essentially has this trauma, right? But when they were discussing his trauma in which he ran over a jogger, I at first thought that they implied he tried to rape a jogger, and when he couldn't, he chased after her in his car, and then ran her down, and like then yelled at her like, "You deserved to die," because he literally yells that. But I don't think that's what it was. It just they were a little vague, and that was how I pieced it together, but I wasn't sure. Anyway, so the other family has a husband who I guess works in realty, a wife who, I don't know if they talk about her job, but she's really uppity in terms of, like, I can't be stuck here. Like, I have places to be. And it's like, honey, we all can't be stuck here. No one wants to be stuck here eating beef stew. That was a horrible line for the writers to give this actress. Maybe we weren't supposed to like any of the characters. I didn't even like the realty man's daughter, who, there's nothing like wrong with her character in her Heart song. She just, the actress, I thought was very bad. She's also the only one who can see the ghosts, I think, for most of the movie. So she'll get this look on her face like she's having like clairvoyance or something, and she'll be like, "Did you see it? The man with the hat, his face," you know? And I guess it's a little stage acty, and I didn't like it for a movie, so I didn't like her either. So what I did like about the movie, it ends up being about like the ghosts of the house that trapped them there. It's a man that realty man foreclosed on and like took his house away. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. You know, I definitely think that's something punishable, taking away a person's home in a society that doesn't take care of homeless people. So yeah, if you were a ghost, I could see how that could make you vengeful. The problem is that that's not the only reason why the two families are there. It also turns out that the rapist boy ran over the wife of the family. And so I guess both the families are being punished because they ruined the OG family that lived in the house. Because when the original house owner, when his wife got run over and murdered, and then he lost his home, apparently he like suicided himself and his son. That's like, you see that in ghost flashbacks. So I don't know if you can tell, but the movie is bad. And I would say the reason why is because it seems like half the people who were stuck in the house didn't deserve to be stuck there. Even if you wanted to, you know, pull off that realty man was especially bad for foreclosing, and rapist boy was especially bad for running over a woman, doing a hit and run and murdering her. Like, yeah, those characters maybe deserve something bad. But, I mean, realty man's daughter didn't do anything. And, rapist boy's parents, if I'm remembering correctly, didn't do it. I mean, they raised him, but Jesus Christ, he's a grown man. I think in the movie he's like 24. That's a man, you know? We don't send parents to jail when their 24-year-old man murders someone. So I guess ghosts have bad senses of justice. But another thing I didn't super love was that the ghosts don't follow ghost rules. Like, I definitely think putting the beans in the cupboard every morning a ghost could do. I think that's established in the ghost zeitgeist of like what canonically is accepted for ghosts to do, at least in Western society. We're like, yeah, our ghosts can move objects. I've seen poltergeists. But and definitely like putting something where it's not supposed to be is something that hauntings do. You know, they do that in like Annabelle and other movies with dolls. So I didn't, what I'm saying is that the ghost, he opened a realty company. He opened like a realty company that had flyers and signs and was trying to sell his old house. It was weird. I don't understand. Maybe I missed something there, but it doesn't seem like something a ghost could do. Yeah, I didn't like this movie, and the main reason I didn't like it was its lack of internal consistency. If you go in and you're saying that the reason why this ghost is punishing these families is because they've committed these grievous wrongs to him, I'm totally cool with that. Ghosts do that all the time. It's like what ghosts are known for. But the end of the movie really messes that notion up. It really blows it for them, specifically in that. So the whole time, these two families, you might have, if you were like really on top of things, you might have been like, but Chelsea, there's 7 cans of beans, and you only mentioned 6 people. Well, there's also a mute girl. She's had her tongue cut out, and she's just there. Like, when the family first drives down the driveway, they're like, oh my god, that girl, did you hit her? Like, what? Like, check if she's okay. And they, she's, like, very upset. She's very obviously, freaking out. She's, like, hysterical. But, they drag her inside the car and they like bring her to the house, and she's like this. She's like very upset about being at the house because she was trying to get away from the house. It's implied that she was from different groups of families that were also trapped in the house and that she couldn't get away. There's the way that you know this is at the very end, like last 2 to 5 minutes of the movie. The realty man's daughter manages to walk away from the house. The way they establish this makes no goddamn sense, but like the mute girl like shows realty man's daughter a book, and it has like a quote about a house that's not a house, and I don't remember how, but they decide that if you walk away from the house while keeping your eye on the house, so like kind of in a, is it Orpheus and Eurydice sort of way, you can't look back. You can't like look at the road. You have to look at the house. And so they figure that out, and I liked that. I thought that was cool. I like kind of ritual solvings of supernatural events or problems. I think that seems very natural, sort of as a conclusion. But, oh, you're right. So the reason why you find out that tongue cut out girl was from like the party before that got messed up by this outing, stuck at the house, is that realty man's daughter is escaping when another group of people comes in like a crossover vehicle minivan and like drags her in, and she's like, no, I'm trying to get to the road. And as they head toward the house, the like ghost of the man that suicided himself cuts out her tongue. And that's literally the final shot. It's very bad. But the problem with the internal consistency in the world building here is it's implied that the ghost is doing these things specifically because the people have wronged him. And I mean, I guess it's possible that other parties have wronged him as much as the man who foreclosed on his house and the man who murdered his wife. But I doubt it. How many wrongdoings can one person have in their life that are that grievous? Like it just feels weird that there was a party before the party with the rapist and the forecloser. Like, I don't know, let's say they murdered his mom and foreclosed on his dad. Like, whoa, it's like an intergenerational thing. But I just think you'd run out, and it's weird to imply that this horrible process is just going to keep on going. Because it's not like it's an analogy for something. It's not like the cycle of violence will continue. It's not like war never stops. Like it wasn't doing anything thematically. It was just a movie. They could have worked more in about the forecloser guy, about like how it's wrong to take someone's home or something. I mean, I guess they didn't really need to say that with the it's wrong to hit and run a woman who's jogging and like leave her to bleed to death. You just assume that, but the movie didn't have any themes and it was bad and I wouldn't recommend it. My verdict is that I didn't enjoy it while it was happening, and the last 2 minutes made it even worse. So that's my review for House Hunting. Thanks, Jonathan. It wasn't good.